Ting! And excited about the eventual Drag Race UK, which is totally confirmed and happening.
And got RuPaul in it as well.
Yes, there was a lot of debate, and at first, a lot of people were saying, Jonathan Ross and Ruth were saying that they wanted a English queen to present it, because Drag Race is very much an American show.
Yes.
So they thought, let's get an English one, like Methadone. And you, Jonathan Ross was very adamant, because he's a giant fanboy.
It's true, about pretty much everything he does.
Mm-hmm. Which is why it often works.
This is why he's a terrible interviewer.
Why he's a terrible interviewer. That Rue should be on the show, and Rue's eventually said yes. So the plot is currently, as we're recording this, as far as I'm aware, the judges will be RuPaul, Jonathan Ross, and some other English person.
I just hope Jonathan Ross... The problem is that I just... To anyone who's not from the UK, you probably may or may not know who Jonathan Ross is. I don't know if BBC America has the Jonathan Ross show on it, or any of the shows that he presents. Mm-hmm. But he has a terrible tendency to be too nice to his guests, or try sucking up to his guests too often.
Well, there's a spectrum. There's
and then then he goes from that to jokingly insulting them.
Yeah, often to just full on really offensive levels.
Yeah,
it's the thing. He's a very passionate man. He's a very big fanboy, which is great. It's just that when he says the wrong thing, in the spur of the moment, trying to riff or something, he tends to say things so far wrong that he makes that transition between comedian, presenter, and celebrity, as in person who gets on the front cover of news pages.
I would say for Drag Race UK, they need to counterbalance that. Need someone who knows fashion.
Yes.
Someone who knows, and so like Santina, someone who can actually do
an English fashion designer. Ooh, what if it was someone from the Great British Sewing Bee and just a cute little person?
No, it had to be someone who's
to balance out the energy levels.
Yeah, but you need someone who's into the couture
True.
stuff.
It could be like Joseph McQueen or someone
Gokwan.
from. Ooh, I could see him being Gokwan. I'm not the biggest fan, but I don't dislike him. I could see him in that.
I don't know if it would work.
This would be the first time he gets to judge.
I know he's not English, and I know the language thing might be an issue, but I would love to see Jean-Paul Gaultier.
You temptress! No, that would be super good.
Well, there was a series in the UK for a long time, years ago, called Eurotrash.
Oh right,
with Jean-Paul Gaultier and I can't remember the name of the other guy. And it was a very smutty show. And but it was kind of like they found like the weirdest people in Europe and then put them on TV. And they had silly voiceovers and stuff. But yeah, you just got to see some of Jean-Paul Gaultier's very weird and strange ideas, because he invented two characters who were like weird pink, almost toilet paper tube thing. Like they looked almost like pink giraffes.
Oh right.
Called Pepe and Popo. And he would talk to them, and they didn't have voices; they were little puppets.
Oh.
But he would talk to them as if they were real characters, and it was just very weird and odd. And you should probably look up Jean-Paul Gaultier and Eurotrash, and possibly Pepe and Popo, just to see how weird it is.
That'd be interesting. I mean, we already have some ideas, some hopes, some wants for guest judges, or guests anyway. Eddie Izzard would be really good as a judge, I think.
Lily Savage.
But Lily Savage, if they do Snatch Game, which here was Blankety Blank, and Blankety Blank was hosted by Lily Savage, who is actually a drag queen.
Yes. And
Paul O'Grady is an amazing person anyway. It would be really good to see Lily Savage brought back as a guest spot.
I don't know if he would, because Paul O'Grady has stated that Lily Savage has retired to a nunnery.
Which at the time made total sense. He wanted to separate the two people.
Well, he hasn't been Lily Savage for a long time.
No.
He's done some panto work, pantomime.
Oh yeah.
Do Americans get pantomime?
I imagine so. Pantomime, the He's Behind You kind of Christmassy plays, that very campy, very silly, usually put on so that kids can enjoy them.
Yeah. They're a great laugh.
But with some subtlety and adult humour.
Yes. And there's usually a ton of innuendo.
Oh, so much innuendo.
And it's the really weird thing with pantomime is, for anyone who doesn't know, this thing it's so ubiquitous over here that I don't know. I don't know about other countries and places where they wouldn't necessarily know. Pantomime is so like every Christmas there is a pantomime.
Oh god, yeah.
And the family goes to see it. It's just a thing.
It's a thing.
But from the word go, pantomime has always had the dame, and the dame is always a drag queen. It's not necessarily a drag queen, but it's always a guy in drag.
Yeah,
always.
Like Graham Norton has frequently been used in different TV pantos to play the fairy godmother.
Yeah, like if the pantomime is Aladdin, Aladdin's mum is always called Widow Twanky, and is always a guy in drag. Is always a guy in drag.
Yeah.
It's not quite the fairy godmother in Cinderella is always guy in drag. It's just
the proud panto tradition could definitely. The
panto tradition.
Yes, could definitely get some guest stars in there. Christopher Biggins, that kind of crowd. Although there's a lot of actual drag people in the UK. Wouldn't it be great if the actual guest stars were relevant?
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things that has annoyed me a little bit about some of these ones where it's like, and guest judge, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I have never heard of them. So blah, 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 you're from this business. Oh, I see. It's because they're irrelevant.
Well, no, not necessarily. They might be big in the culture in America, but we just don't know because we don't know.
Yeah, a lot of them I think get brought on because they're Rue's mates, and Rue thinks they'll be hilarious and awesome. And often they are. But if they're not acting or fashion related or music related, it just seems a bit random.
No, it's just someone had a weird thought.
Ooh?
Yeah, we're talking about the pantomime dame. Now I know it does end into the comedic element of homosexuality that we really need to get away from. But there is a long history that I think of people who are traditionally homophobic people playing the pantomime dame. There's a comedian called Jim Davidson who has a long history of being a little bit right wing, a little bit racist, a little bit bigoted, well, quite a lot bigoted. Who's always stated he's a man's man, blah blah blah. Has had several wives because he's a man's man. And he plays the dame a lot in pantomimes. And it's just one of those really weird things of like the heterosexual man, really heterosexual man playing the pantomime dame. Interesting.
It's interesting.
Someone should look into it.
He's not playing a character though, is he? It's not like Al Murray.
No.
Who's totally a character.
Weirdly enough, Jim Davidson's always he's a stand-up comedian.
Okay.
So he's not.
Vaguely.
Oh no, he's not worth looking into.
Fair enough.
He was one of those guys that they used to get to present shows like The Big Break, which was a snooker-based show.
Okay.
And he did Family Fortunes for a little while. The Generation Game for a while. He was a pretty solid fixture on Saturday Night TV for a long time. But his relevance has kind of slipped away as people have gotten a little bit more liberal and a little less.
That makes sense. Like Roger B. Brown.
Yeah.
Again, don't bother looking them up. Seriously, just look up something else. Look up Lady Bunny. She's awesome. You could have Russell T Davies as a guest or Catherine Tate.
Oh,
I just fucking love Catherine Tate. I know some people who hate Catherine Tate. It's like, no, sorry, I won't be moved. I fucking love her. I've watched all the series of her show. I'm down with that. I wish we could have had more of Donna Noble from Doctor Who.
Yeah, no, Catherine Tate's awesome. She's one of one of those comedians who relies, and this isn't necessarily a bad thing. It sounds like a criticism, but it's not. She relies very heavily on the jokes being that you know the characters.
Yes.
Like she'll use the same characters over and over again. Occasionally introduce a new one, but it's always a sketch show with these set characters in this set situation.
Yeah. And with the exception of the characters that made her super famous, that she just couldn't retire, like Ma, the crazy grandma. There were these brilliant characters that she creates that do go for that, but she develops the joke over the course of the series by having them used once each time, and they become ridiculous. Like the charity lady. In the first episode, the charity lady's like doing this thing, and she guilt trips her colleague into donating for her. And by the last episode, she's like, I'll tell you how it is. What we're gonna do is pull a cart with ropes down the M thing, using only the B roads, using our bare strength at night for no reason during construction to raise money for some Girl Guides. It's like, oh, she's gone off the deep end. Fuck. She takes logical extremes so good. In a specific one I would say look up, one of my favourite sketches of hers is Not Drunk Enough, where she's talking to this guy and he's like, maybe I could come in for a cup of coffee or something. She's like, I'm sorry, I'm not drunk enough. What do you mean? I've had so many shandies already, but I just can't find you attractive. And they're like, but we went to Oktoberfest. I thought that would be enough. Surely there's operations, they say, where they can inject alcohol into your bloodstream. My kidneys are fucked as it is. This will never work. It's so ridiculous.
Oh, that's glorious.
We are tangenting, but it's only because we're really excited to see Drag Race UK, because there's so much that's relevant to us at last.
For me personally, I really want to see how it translates to the UK, because
yes,
one of the big things with English and American television is some shows translate really well. Some shows don't. Some shows need to be edited, like the American version of The Office, for instance.
That immediately came to mind.
Yeah, super popular show in America, but very different to the British Office. I'm sure you've seen people have seen both versions.
And there's a lot of bitterness around it because of it. Not only by the fans, but also it allowed for that ridiculous Emmy moment where Ricky Gervais presented and then yelled at the guy from the American Office, "Where's my Emmy? Give it back to me. You don't deserve it." But he was in the joke. He eventually gave it, but they were playing their different characters, so he was playing the guy who just doesn't react to anything. Yeah. It's like, I see why this is less funny.
But yeah, it's things like that. So, some shows work, some shows don't. Like, for instance, Doctor Who. You couldn't make an American version of Doctor Who. It just would not work.
I believe they tried.
No. Even then, that wasn't an American version. That was just using an American studio with British writers and British cast and so on and so forth, trying to make it for an American audience.
Oh, wait, are you thinking of the film?
Yeah.
No, I was going to say Torchwood.
Yeah, no, but even Torchwood, I mean...
That was writers from the Stars Network in America.
Yeah. But, yeah, exactly. So, it just wouldn't work. So I'm very interested to see how Drag Race translates across the Atlantic into the UK and see...
It's interesting because we don't normally get British versions of another country's shows. Normally it goes the other way around.
No, there are a few. It's mostly quiz shows, though.
True. Quiz shows and reality shows like
Survivor or...
UK and Ireland's Next Top Model.
Yeah.
America's Next Top Model. And that one kind of, you can see why you don't need to give a fuck about the country or many other things. It's people posing, okay? I'm sorry. I know they go through a lot of challenges, but I've seen some of the challenges and they bore the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
Or confuse me. I was like, this is not what models have to do. No, go away.
Yeah. And then you obviously get the other ones like I'm a Celebrity, Get Me the Hell Out of Here, or whatever it's called.
Oh, God. Well, that one only works because celebrity culture exists, which means it's inherently worrying.
Yeah, although it does amuse me that they say it's called I'm a Celebrity, and half the people on there, I'm like, who the hell are you?
Aren't.
Who are you? I don't think I've ever seen you, ever. And then you find out that they're a presenter on some daytime TV show that only 5 people watch. Or they used to be a pop star like 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah, and so it's more like, I'm a celebrity, please reinvigorate my career.
I'm a Z-list celebrity, please pay attention to me.
Yeah, I'm a Z-list, please get me to the V-list. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, they try to recruit. They send out invitations to a shit ton of people for these things. Like Celebrity Big Brother. Charlie McDonnell from YouTube, Charlie Sokola, got invited to Celebrity Big Brother. He did not go on it because he has shit to do and a life. That's the thing. If you don't feel you have to go on these programs, you don't. You continue with your already successful career. That's the thing. There's how ex-politicians and people end up on these fucking things.
Yeah.
This is how Piers Morgan... No, I think Piers Morgan's just a control freak, actually.
Piers Morgan's a dick.
Piers Morgan's also a dick.
In America, you've got him now. You can't. We don't want him back.
I was going to say, don't send him back for Drag Race UK. You can fucking keep him. We will not. He will be killed if he comes back. There will be people who'll do it. Do not doubt. Also, on that note, we already have Jonathan Ross. As debatable as it is, we don't need another comedian on this judges panel. I know you've used him for a different show. Do not put Michael McIntyre into fucking Drag Race UK. I will cut you up. I do not like that man, and I do not want him poisoning these waters.
He will cut a bitch.
I will so much. Not Rue, of course, but, I have so many high hopes. I don't want it to go so wrong.
Yes.
Is this what Green Lantern fans felt like?
No,
is that too harsh? I don't even know.
I think that's a little bit harsh. A little bit harsh.
It couldn't possibly end up that bad. But I have my hopes and I have my worries. We will have to see.
But yes, anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed our random ramblings through
the drag of the past and the interest of the drag of the future.
Indeed.
The claw.
So yes.
Andrew O'Neill, bring him on as a guest judge. He'll be fucking hilarious. He'll read everyone for filth. Just because he's a comedian, heavy metal, steampunk transvestite, and a bit of an arse. Also a Doctor Who fan. Do him with Russell T Davies. He'll have kittens.
And then we'll read Russell T Davies.
Ah. All my dreams. Yes. Oh, also, I almost forgot to mention. Yeah, Conchita Wurst. She needs to guest host Drag Race UK at some point.
Yeah.
She needs to be in there. She's from Europe. It's close enough. She needs to be in here. I want a beardy queen. There's so much rejection for beardy queens in the show, even though Matthew Anderson
was on the pamphlet.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, every time a queen goes on with a beard, they're like, no, you're on the bottom two now. And
I know Milk.
Milk only got through because Milk was fucking amazing at every other aspect, and the beard did work. But they were like, the beard, it dies. Get rid of it, please.
Take it out back and shoot it.
If he had dyed that beard green, would have been episode 1. Would have just gone straight there. Michelle Visage would have yanked it off his face. But yeah, Matthew Anderson, God. Just goddess, God. Gender neutral. Drag monarch. That works.